So, what we have here is just, I just wanted to show it off quick, because I'll be changing some of the stuff, uh, soon. I'm actually working on the resources to change all of it. Except, the thing that I won't be changing because I like it so much is the clouds at the top of the screen, because I actually owe that to Baz for showing me, for making a video on how to make a infinite loop so that you could have parallaxing without because the engine doesn't handle parallaxing well on its own. But through the workaround that Baz showed in that video, I was able to figure out how to make parallaxing and at different speeds and make the whole cloud swirling around the moon in the background. But this is just a quick show to show what the start menu looks like. This is all going to change though, because I just finished working on the new logo for the KnightShayde. Because you could see, I mean, the menu looks good. I'm not saying the menu looks bad, but the new logo that I have for KnightShayde fits the tone more of what I wanted the game to be like. And what else was I going to mention about this? The background. Well, I mean, anybody who has Pixel Game Maker would know that a lot of the stuff in the background, like the trees and the mountains and stuff, which is not a big deal, I don't mind, but they're a part of the one of the default tile sets, and I am working on unique tile sets. I don't have a problem with the default tiles; they're actually pretty good, and you should probably edit them if you want to have something more unique. But the background itself, whilst it does show, it was drawn quick. You see there's a cathedral in the background and it's glowing and the moon is glowing and it's shining its rays down. It does look like what I wanted it to, but it's supposed to be more dark and grim. It's supposed to be like a graveyard and it's supposed to look more terrifying. Right now it looks cool, but terrifying wouldn't be the word I'd call it. Of course, all the features work. Again, I have Baz to thank for showing how to do this stuff. I stepped away for a bit because there was a lot of things going on at one point. You see, you could start a new file, it'll ask you. Of course, if you do, it'll start a new game. I'll show that quick in a second, but load works the same too. If you try to load a file and there is data, then it'll ask you if you want to load it. I won't load that because I mean I probably will, just to see what all is saved on it, because the intro for the game isn't done yet either. It just starts you out on the map, and you can see if you try to load a file that doesn't have any save data, it'll say that. But one thing I didn't realize that I didn't add to this menu, which I'm going to have to change when I make the new one, is that I know, technically speaking, actually I could ask someone's opinion on that. When you start a new game, you could start it over any of the files, but the thing that it doesn't mention is that it'll erase the previous data on it, and that's something I feel like I should mention, because I had a friend look at the game and she did say, you know, there's no way to delete the game, and that's something I was thinking on, but then I was like, you could delete the game by starting a new game over the file. But I mean, I don't know, that's something I'd have to think on. I'll ask the opinions of people on it. I'll even ask Baz's opinion on it. But let me just load into the game, because I don't even know what all is saved on it or what I last did on it. I knew I was working on it hard and getting certain things going. Yeah, the map still looks generally the same. I don't know what I was going for. I mean, I wasn't really going for anything. I was just testing out tile sets that I had. Of course, I'm gonna make some unique ones, like the ones you see here around the corners and the curves and this. I made those myself. And some of these tiles came from tile sets that I bought. The water tiles I made myself as well. I know I made some upgrades because when you are on the field, like I wanted it to feel like Zelda 2 when you were on the field. That's why Wallace, the main character, looks the way he does on the field. It's made to look like Link when you play Zelda 2 and you're on the world map. But a few things I added, they don't do anything justice yet because I'm still working on how the map would work and all of that. Is you have certain moves you could do on the field, like you could swing a pickaxe. Obviously that would be something you'd use to clear out roadblocks and maybe do other things. I also included the raft power, which is something else you'd get, but it doesn't work like the raft in Zelda 2, and there's still some effects missing from it, I see, because I know I worked on the effects, I just didn't put it in the game yet for whatever reason. But it doesn't work like the Zelda 2 raft, where you just hop on a boardwalk and then it takes you away somewhere. This is more of a... It allows you to traverse on water and you can find secrets and other levels and stuff like that. Or at least that's the plan. You are also able to climb, but I am not on that the test map where I have the climbable surface, but you could definitely climb. Now I'll just stop into a level quick to see if I changed any of the power-ups, because I didn't change anything. Oh, and a person who saw this video asked, who saw the previous video, asked what song this was. This song is the tower theme, the Sacred Tower theme from the NES game Willow. Just so that you know that. But, you see I have 9 health potions. What all do I have? You see the menu is different now. I added a lot of the things I said I was going to add from the previous video. So this still works the same. You press up and down, or you navigate the menu like this. Obviously all the options do exactly as they say. You could resume the game, you could return to the map, or you could go straight back to the title screen. I might add another thing here that'll say your progress isn't saved when you do this. So that's one thing I could add. But new features, and of course you could press left and right to go through your inventory. Before it was like power up, but I was like, some of them are power ups and some of them are like inventory things. But I currently have a lot of the stuff now, and the side menu I said I was going to bring up is now in the game. There's one to the left, but that currently isn't on now, and I think there's a switch I could turn on to make that come on, but I'll show that off in a moment. But as you can see, this is what it looked like. Because the person asked me, it's like, what if you needed to select something from this inventory menu on the fly? And I'm like, the inventory in the pause menu doesn't work like that. It just shows you the power-ups you have, and if it's an item like these knives here, the daggers, it'll show you your capacity, because you can upgrade capacity throughout the game. And these here, these last 5 items are like the power-ups. And I have all of them. Yes, and this menu is now in the game. I mentioned that this was what I was going to add. And the way this works is when you go over the amulet or the cross, you could press select and it'll give you a description of all the blessings you could have. Like insight will unveil illusions in the environment. Clarity protects your minds from dangers. Focus, channel aura to see eldritch foes. This is the water power, lets you move and breathe freely underwater. And Chronos, immunity to temporal anomalies. A funny thing, because somebody asked, the original thing, this says insight. And I had someone ask if this was inspired by Bloodborne. It wasn't. The name had to be insight because of restrictions. Because I had made this menu, and frankly, this menu took a long time to make, so I'm not remaking it. But this isn't supposed to be insight. This power is actually supposed to be called clairvoyance. but I couldn't get clairvoyance to fit in the box, so I just went with something else. A lazy way out, but I've been working on this game for a very long time. And what else did I add in this menu? All right, you can press. It says, yeah, left bumper. You press left bumper to go into a screenshot sort of mode. So you could have a still of the screen you're on. For whatever reason, I don't know why I added it. I just felt like it would be something cool to have in it. And if you press right bumper, this was new and this took a moment to do. You could open up the travel journal. And I'll explain this. In this map, where it says map, it should be map/location. But I couldn't get the slash to fit again. So I guess as long as it drives home the point of what it does. Basically, when you are in a dungeon, it functions, but I don't have it programmed to work yet. Or I have different, but the way this would work is this: when you are on like as I mentioned before. Sorry if I'm stuttering a bit. As I mentioned before, there are two types of levels in this game. There are straightforward levels, and those play very similar to Castlevania. So when you are this map location does not really do much for levels like that. It'll just have the name of the level you're on and which region of the game world it's located in, and that's about it. I may have it show you a picture of that spot, but it really doesn't matter because the world map is what it is. But doesn't matter. But this map location is actually important in dungeon levels, because in dungeon levels, the area where it says no area map available would change, and that would be sort of like a, you know, your standard Metroidvania, Metroid Castlevania like map where you press select and it's like a blue map, and it has like a flashing orb or something, or a flashing square to show you where you are. It would change, and the key item area would be all the items you collected in that dungeon. So yeah, where it says key items, that's more like dungeon items, but again, restraints, and I don't want to be working on this game forever. You could press the trigger buttons to toggle between these, like that. Then there's the key items. These are items that you collect in the regions, and they do different things on the world map, but they don't really do anything in levels. So these are just things you collect on the world map. Of course, the descriptions and the icons might change in the end game depending on what it is, but all these things are just placed here for me to test this menu to make sure that it works properly, and it does, because all it needs to do is tell you what the item is and a description on the item. Then there's the bestiary, which is just, you know, might not be necessary, but I always felt like I wanted to have a bestiary in game, and I had one of the monsters I was working on in it, and I do plan to, if I can, animate them to do different things like their attacks and whatnot, and I might change that description box a bit to where I could have a simple description of them, a what are they weak to sort of spot, and how much of them you've killed. Not really relevant, so I might not do that, but the bestiary still works the same as any bestiary in any games. You have to defeat an enemy to learn about it. Otherwise, it won't show up in the book. If you hurt the enemy but don't defeat it, the name would show up, but the description of it won't be there. And obviously, to do this, you could navigate this just as it looks. You use the D-pad up and down to select which monster you want to see the description of, and you press left and right to change the pages. Right now, there's only 2 pages programmed in, and that is because I have a list of enemies in a black and white book, but I do not know what all enemies are actually going to make it in the end game. But I do know it's going to be more than 2 pages worth. I just put the 2 pages in so that I could get this menu functioning. And of course, I didn't mention this, but you could unpause the game. You could bring up the travel menu directly by just pressing the select button. And you could go to the menu from it by the same method of pressing the bumper buttons. That works exactly the same. What else can I show? What else can I show off here? As far as things go, I changed a lot of things, but those are more like under the hood things, like how holding your breath would work. Let me return to the map. Wait a minute. Oh, right. No, I didn't have that programmed properly, so that is something on my behalf. But one thing that changed is, you see, I have placeholders from Castlevania games, because this was an earlier map that I made. One thing that I changed is how the splash effect looks. And I have the swimming power on. I would have to turn it off to show you. But one other thing that I changed too is how the underwater mechanics work in the game. Before, it was sort of like, it was timer based, but the timer would reset itself every time you move between screens. So like this, if you had a bar, like a bar of breath, you can't see it, but because I have the brief water power on. But the problem with that is if you went through a transition, it would reset the timer for that one bar, so you could stay underwater for extended periods of time if you went through a transition. I fixed that, and it wasn't very hard to fix. What else can I show? Because the other things I'm working on, those are things that those are more just like still pictures, nothing to make videos or nothing about. This was changed too a little bit because I wanted to have the moon in the background, and wanted to test some other things. I'll show this off quick. I also upgraded the movement sprite on one of the bosses I was working on. You can see. Oh gosh, don't kill me. Like her sword sprite isn't reworked yet, and the attack sprite isn't done yet either. But everything else is done. Don't mind that. How he flew away like that. That is just a thing that my computer does for like the first hit or something. As you can see, she's been reworked and she has more frames of animation. And let me get out of here. The heal button has been changed. Before it was select, but now it's Y. If you're using an Xbox controller, be triangle on that. And I haven't decided on keyboard controllers yet because I don't really use a keyboard when I play video games. What are a few other things I could show off? I think I added... Let me see quickly. I added a lot of the other things in the game that weren't there before. Like, if I remember... You had all the different armors and all the different weapons. But there's also new power too. This isn't completely finished yet. But you know how every Castlevania game has like the super jump. Where if you hold the up and press a certain button, you zip up. So I have added that. And it uses up your shadow power to do that, but I'm still trying to figure out how to implement that in the game properly. But as far as it goes, it does work and it doesn't break the game. Though it looks funny on this level because you're hitting the sky. But that is in the game. And another thing that I have in the game is that all the armors are in the game. So the level 2 armor is in the game. It makes you this blue color, which I might change because it might be hard to see in certain backgrounds. If you want to give your opinion on that, that'd be good. And of course you have the level 3 armor, which is the strongest armor. And I do like this one. It does look a bit like the first one, but I do like the red. You can see I was trying to go for something like Legend of Zelda, where your medium armor or the middle armor is blue, and the final armor you get is red. But I also programmed in all of the sword upgrades you could get too. So of course you have your level 1 sword. Then there's the level 2 sword, which I might change because it does look a bit funky. I mean, I guess you could give me your opinion on it. Then there's the level 3 sword, which I like a lot. But of course, then my favorite, and hidden in the game, I won't tell you how to get it, but I'm pretty sure if people play the game, they'll figure it out, is the level 4 sword, which is just a variant of the level 3 sword. But it is the strongest sword you can get in the game. What else did I add? I know power-ups, there were other things, and a lot of other stuff has been moved. Of course, the health upgrades are in the game. Let me move this so you can see it, but you can see there's still 10 health upgrades scattered throughout the whole game. So when you get to the end of it, that's what it would look like. So you could have 3 times that much health, because the red power up is like, is it triple defense? Or is it like defense and a half? I cannot remember, but anyways, that is exactly what it is. As far as it goes, I believe that is all I have to show on this. Oh yeah, and also the color of your the power up if your defense upgrades also shows on the map. Oh, and that's another thing. Map menu. That has also been done. It's different from the menu you have in game. I mean in level. You can actually save the game, which I will do. This, as simple as it sounds, took me a while to learn, but again, I have Baz to thank for this. As you can see, there are a couple of things here. You can quit the game. How much lives you could have in a level. A thing to note, because somebody asked how lives work in this game, it doesn't work in the same vein as a regular Castlevania sort of game or Zelda 2 sort of game. Basically, whenever you come to the world map, first of all, you have to find items to upgrade the amount of lives you could have. But think of it more like, whenever you return to the map screen I'm in, you'll regain all the lives you could possibly hold. It's just that when you are in a level, you are only allowed to die twice. And you could start from a checkpoint, at least at this stage, because the person has 2 lives. But if you die twice, then you lose everything. And you have to start the whole level over again. You get booted out, you get a game over, and you have to go back to the map. That is how that works currently. These are, I haven't given them a proper name yet. I just call them spirit orbs. But basically, it's like when you beat a level in Castlevania, you get an orb. But unlike it just being decoration you would get, these are what expands the world map. Right now, that's not a thing because this is just a test map. But usually when you start, you could go walk around the map, find secrets or find levels. But you will be closed off. And you would be required to have a certain amount of these for the map to open up. The inventory here just shows things off, like what you could get, like overworld power-ups, like the pickaxe I showed earlier or the raft. Rate, obviously, is your percent completion of the game. Of course, it's blank now because until the game is finished and I could apply a certain number to it, there's no way to know the rate. I can't guess the rate. I could put an arbitrary variable there and I might just do that just so I could figure out how to arrange that. But as far as it goes now, I just left that blank. And of course, there's playtime. The C represents current playtime. As you can see, and it's yellow. I've been currently playing for 20 minutes and 13 seconds. And the T time is the total play time. And altogether, this file has been being played for 44 minutes. Wait a minute. I'm noticing something. Oh no, it's a trick of a trick of the eyes. I thought the current timer for the seconds was moving faster than the total time of seconds, but no, they're moving at the same rate. That just threw me off. But essentially, that is it for now. Now, like I said, there are other things that I have been working on. And I'll show those off and implement those in the game soon. I just had to stop because a lot of things were going on at the time. But now that I have time to get back into this, all those things, all those enemies, all those new features, well, not new features, all those new things will be implemented into the game so that I can finally have a game going. But that is basically it for now, so I'll just close this video off here because it's been going for a minute now. So thanks for watching it, and give me your opinion on it, please.